It's been a great conversation tonight as we dive into politics and coming off these political conventions about what you think and how things will go leading up to November 3rd. Dr. Thomas Schwartz is our guest tonight. Thank you for being here once again. If I need to remind you at home, he's a political science professor at Vanderbilt University. Let's get right to the phones here. We have Peggy on the line. Peggy, thanks for hanging in there with us during the commercial break. What's your comment or question?
Well, my comment is, hello, everybody. I have to agree with the last couple callers about the divided country and stuff. I think that our country, the Democrats and the Republicans, need to work together. Let the American people pick the president. I think the schools, the teachers, the frontliners, the medical people, all that's out here saving lives and keeping the nation going, those that worked all the way through this pandemic, I think that they should be taken care of. I think that this coronavirus that's going around, I believe in my heart that we were lied to since October of last year. This virus has been going all over the country. It's right there in front of us. Like you said, like the other people said, divided nation. How do we know that some of our own homeland people weren't involved in this to take down a lot of our people and around the country? They need to come together and work together. In God we trust. And get a vaccine for this. Fight together. Get this done. There's a lot of them that is fighting, and then there's a lot of them fighting against us. And we don't need to be divided. All races, everybody's God's children. And one day we're all going to stand a judgment for that. I believe that we need to protect our schools, our teachers, our law enforcement. All races and all colors should be treated fairly with justice. Nobody should have a leeway. If they do a crime, they need to pay for that crime, no matter what color you are. It should be in a fair justice system. We need to protect our troops, because those are the ones that are on the front lines protecting the American people.
That's right.
And I believe that they shouldn't take away from them, the schools. They shouldn't take away from the elderly, the disabled. That is what America's about, is taking care of each other, but we are failing.
Yeah. Peggy, you bring up something that I want to talk. Yeah, you bring up something that I want to talk to Dr. Schwartz about, and that is the level of mistrust within the government, and not just the divisiveness, but there is a true distrust of information that we get from the government. Surely you sense that as well.
Yes, and I think that's something that is really quite. It's not new with Donald Trump. There was a great deal of distrust of the Obama. It's just that it's different people who are mistrusting the government now, and that level of distrust has become endemic in American society for a long period of time, partially cultivated by the fact that many things have happened where the government has either deceived or at least been incompetent, and that has created doubts, and these continue to fester. There's also a long history of distrust of government in the United States. I think sometimes we over-romanticize our past in this, that we've had other periods of this. We had a brief period perhaps created by World War II and the post-war period in which there was a much higher level of trust. But ever since Vietnam and Watergate, there's always been a certain level of distrust within the United States about government that has waxed and waned, but has been pretty consistent, and it's gotten much worse in recent years.
It's interesting. Okay, let's get back to the lines. We have Gene on the line. Gene, good evening. Thanks for being part of the show.
Well, good evening, folks. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The issue we see now about the polarization, I hear some folks try to compare what's going on right now to the movement back in the 60s, and there is truly no comparison. I was speaking with a friend the other day about this. This was a true movement. There was no political motive behind that, and anyone with half a mind can see that what happens now with the Black Lives Matter movement and with all of these other movements that are going on, by and large, they're politically driven. If it's politically driven, it is not a good thing, because it's not an organic type of movement. It is going to benefit a particular party, and not benefit people. Now, also, as far as the president is concerned, I hear friend after friend deride the president for his speech patterns and everything else. But let's be quite honest about this. If you take a look at the last 4 presidencies and you see the media's reaction to them, there have been problems with the media and the president. But these past 3 years or more has been the most ridiculous, the most inane demands and accusations from the media that shows very much, again, the polarization. They are very much not for the man in office. And that has to stop also. If you talk about the distrust that we have for politics right now, the government officials, your leaders of the DNC and the RNC, they're both culpable for this. It's got to stop. But the problem is, as long as they say, if you put me in office, let me show you what I can do for you. And we are sadly acting as lemmings in a lot of ways. So we just have to stay strong and look for truth where we can find it, and hold our nose with the rest. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Gene, very much. I'm going to try to get through a few callers here because we have lots of folks on the line. James is on the line as well. Good evening, James.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. What's your comment or question tonight?
Well, my comment is this, when we're looking at the situation in this United States of America right now, there is a great divide amongst people. And I do think at this time, our president is not showing the love and the compassion that he should toward blue states. And he's made that comment before, but I think that he should be the president to every state, regardless of what people think about him or whatever. It all be out of love and compassion where we can go forward. As far as the president election is concerned, I think both parties need to stop arguing and tweeting against one another and tell the people what their plan is for the United States going forward. I do think the people are playing off for the reactions of the president when he make remarks of mayors being fools. I don't think that's becoming of a president who's wanting to respect the people. And I do think that this pandemic situation has gotten out of hand. I think we knew about it before it was actually told to the public. I don't think the CDC had things in place because I think that committee, if I'm not mistaken, had been abolished. But it had been set up by Obama, and information had been left for the incoming president to follow up on, and I don't think it was. When we look at what we say the Constitution of the United States and what we're supposed to be about in this country, the love of mankind, I don't see that. I heard a statement was made today because the president said he don't think he would leave office. He may not even leave the White House because he thinks that if he lose the election was a fraud.
Right.
And to my understanding, they asked a general, would they remove him? And he said no, they would not remove him from the White House. Now I gotta have an understanding: is the military here for the president? Are they here for the well-being of the people of the United States? Should we allow things to be said and we don't correct the person when they're wrong? And everybody just running rampant on what they think is right and wrong.
Yeah.
If a person is wrong, somebody politically needs to stand up and say, no, that is wrong.
James, I'm going to cut you off because we're running short on time here, but thank you for calling in tonight. And I think that you're going to be our last caller here. We have 1 minute to go, Dr. Schwartz, and I wanted to ask you about the polling. We were talking about it during commercial break, and you said we need more right now because the polling that we have, which puts the candidates pretty close, it isn't sufficient right now.
That's right. I mean, one of the great failures of 2016 polling was an emphasis overall on the general election and not a specific enough emphasis on the battleground states. And so what we're going to need to see, there are about 14, 15 battleground areas that need to be polled to get a good sense of whether Trump can pull off what he did in 2016 and winning narrowly. It's estimated only 77,000 votes separated him in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. But we need to have that type of polling to have a better sense of where the election's going.
All right, Dr. Schwartz, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really always appreciate your perspective and your knowledge. All right, we're going to wrap things up when we come back. I'll tell you what's on tap for the rest of the week. Stay with us.